Hello and welcome. I'm Patrick Curtis, Chief Monkey of Wall Street Oasis, and this is Monkey to Millions, a show where you get a front row seat as I mentor young students and professionals to try and help them break into their dream jobs. In the first cohort, you'll meet 4 students, all preparing for intense job interviews while trying to also balance a personal life and schoolwork. The goal of this show is to shine a light on the struggles of trying to break into competitive positions with a non traditional background and to give you a roadmap for your own success. My hope is that as you get to know these 4 impressive students, you are inspired to dream big. Remember, these are real people and this is their true story. Let's get to it. In this session, we learned that John decompressed over winter break and was dealing with some family issues. We talk about rebooting his job search, which is now coming down to the wire with graduation just 6 months away. I encourage him to open his application to several other relevant finance careers and push him to get me his homework assignment that will make a big impact on his behavioral interviews.
Here I am. Hopefully I don't get kicked out of this room.
No worries. Yeah, if you do, we can just pick it back up. I can stop the recording. But listen, what is this, session 5, session 4, something like that?
I think so.
We've been working together for almost a year. How are the Lakers looking?
Oh, we're looking great.
Yeah. I think the Celtics are right behind them in the power rankings.
Are they? Is
like
it
4th or 5th? I think.
I haven't checked. Yeah, I know we're up there with the Clippers and the Bucks, but we haven't been doing so hot. Yeah, we haven't been doing so hot against teams above 500. We did beat the Mavericks the other night, but other than that,
I think
not too great.
I think LeBron is probably just coasting, regular season.
Having AD do all the work until the playoffs.
He's old, man.
Yeah,
a lot of
a couple more years in him, hopefully.
It's going to be really interesting. Anyways, so yeah, let's talk a little bit about. I haven't seen any updates from you, so I gotta get. It's okay. I just got to get the update from you. What's going on since last time we chatted?
I was gonna actually message you over break because I was gonna help for something that one of the banks I'm interviewing with was gonna have me do, which is a writing assessment. But then your Skype said like do not message or.
Oh man, don't listen to that. Don't listen to that because
okay.
I put that on for like podcast recording. So always feel free to reach out, and you can text me too.
Okay, got it.
I forget I turned that on. I just looked at it and it says do not disturb on. I just looked at it now.
Yeah, I was just like, dang, like this would have been a prime moment to hit up Patrick, but
dude,
it's cool. I think it went well.
Text me. I mean, I don't know promises I would have been able to do anything because I was traveling with kids and stuff. But so yeah, tell me what happened. Was it with one of the ones you?
Yeah, it was with the middle market bank in San Francisco for the healthcare group. I had a interview with the MD, and then shortly after, she said she was gonna have me take a writing assessment the week after. And that's when I was going to hit you up to ask like what it possibly could be. It just turned out to be like a questionnaire, like 10 questions. 5 were pertaining to banking. And then the other 5 was kind of just like personal or like trying to get a feel of who you were. And then she said that they'd get back to me the week of the 20th of January since they're going to halt like recruiting or they're going to halt the interview process until then. Cause I said it was going to be busy these next 2 weeks or next week at this point in time. So waiting to hear back from them. Still waiting to hear back from the boutique in LA. I had a second round with the principal right before break or shortly after I started break.
How'd that go?
So it was the one where he tested me till failure, and yes, I did fail. I thought it went well though. I pretty much played it off as a curious George. Whenever I did stumble, I took it as a learning opportunity. So hopefully that went well. On a personal level and more on a behavioral level, I thought I did pretty fine. He was a great dude, and hopefully he thought the same of me. So hopefully when I did stumble, it wasn't too bad.
Do you feel like you got through the basics and the technicals?
Hello?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, do you feel like you got through the basics on the technicals, like the main stuff?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so.
Or do you feel like you need more reps with that? Or you're getting better?
Yeah, I should. Well, in terms of like the basics, I feel like I have that down. It's just like when it gets into really deep, like maybe deep accounting questions or deep valuation or finance questions, I really need to step my game up. Like I said, like over this break, I've really been out of commission. There was a lot that was going on back home, like personally within my family.
Okay.
But then also I just took the time to like I
Decompress.
don't know, decompress. Yeah, exactly. You took the word right out of my mouth. Decompress from finals and all that stuff. I did pull away with some good grades. So other than that, like that last week was pretty tough, especially with like I had 2 interviews that week on top of 3 other finals. So
Yeah, it was
took
brutal.
lots of
I
weeks to
remember that you were
decompress.
like,
Yeah,
leading up to that week, it
yeah.
was crazy. So yeah, tell me a little bit about. So you've had a couple interviews. You're kind of waiting on one, or you're waiting on two. Then.
And then I also had I had like a couple emails, and then I had a hire review with a bank on the East Coast, kind of middle market. It's for
Hmm.
like the name of it is called like Capital Markets um, Development Program.
Okay.
So it's like a 3-year program. They run you through 3 other groups. One of them is investment banking. So I thought
Hmm.
that was pretty cool. And then the other 2 groups is like asset and liability management. And then they have like other ones like credit, I think.
Hmm.
Um,
The
so I
capital
applied to that,
markets.
took the hire review. Yeah, it was PNC,
Oh, PNC.
the
Yeah.
bank. Yeah, so they have a capital markets development program. So I applied to that, took the hire review. Still waiting to hear back. I actually did the hire review like last Friday, so not too long ago. I don't know how usually how
What was
long.
the hire you like? It was like, tell me about why you want to do this kind of thing. Like one question.
Yeah, it was mostly behavioral, nothing about the markets. Usually how hire reviews tend to go, right?
Do you feel like the higher view, supposedly it's like the machine reading your facial expressions and shit. Do you
I
know
hate that. I hate
that?
that. Yeah, I
So you
know.
have
I
to
know what
have
that
like the
is.
genuine smile. You can't just be like, you know, because
Oh, I hope real people actually do view it.
yeah, I've heard that it is reviewed by real people. And they like the
Okay.
algos will give a score like just based on like whatever, but people actually do look at it.
hmm
Um,
Yeah.
so hopefully,
Yeah. Hopefully
fingers
that goes well.
crossed, but yeah, hopefully that goes
And
well.
then and then I had a first round interview with a middle market bank in Seattle last Friday.
Where are you getting these?
Um,
Where are you landing these through your networking?
yeah, through my networking. This shop that I contacted analysts like in the summer before I even started my B Riley internship,
Good.
and then just keeping that point of contact up until now. And then he referred me to his VP, and the VP reached out to me. He said it's a committee of like 4 or 5 VPs, and they're leading the recruitment process.
Okay.
So I had the first round with him. It was strictly behavioral, and he said I have to talk to another VP, and if that goes well, they'll bring me into like a full super day,
Okay.
which is probably going to be like 4 or 5 interviews plus a case study.
But when's the conversation with the other VP?
I haven't heard back.
Okay.
I did send the thank you note, but I haven't heard back from
You did or you did not
the
send a thank
VP.
you note? You did?
No, I did. Yeah,
Okay.
no, the next day for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave that out.
Okay.
And then over break, I think
Do you
maybe it
feel
was
like
over
your
break or
behaviorals are as tight as they could be? Like
I mean,
your
I
stories,
have
like are your stories, did you ever send me things with your stories and all that
that
stuff?
was yeah, I know that was right
I've been
before
I've been
finals.
harping
Yeah, I
I've been
know.
harping on you for that
You do.
because I feel like it's underestimated. Like if you kind of go at it as a little bit too nonchalant and you
hmm
come at it with like a B plus answer,
hmm
like it's good enough to get by with school and whatnot, but like in these interviews, if they have
Yeah.
any reason to ding you, if you sound somewhat not genuine, anything like that, so
hmm
just really tightening it up can actually make a huge difference in terms of whether you get that
Will
offer
do.
or not. So like I think it's worth just spending the hour, just tell me what
Sitting
tell me
down.
what stories you're telling, like, because
Sounds
I may
good.
be like, oh my gosh, it's a huge red flag, don't do that.
Yeah, I
But
definitely won't. Yeah, I have a little more free time this
great.
quarter, even though I'm taking an extra class. But since I don't have the internship, and I'm not, as involved in
Did you
the
good you
on-campus
stopped
groups.
you stopped the internship like I told you to, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was like mutually like
Okay,
ended
good.
at that point. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Um, so yeah, no, since that's done and I'm not as involved in the on-campus groups I am right now for this quarter, since I'm trying to focus on recruiting specifically, I can definitely get you
No,
that
you're
as soon as possible. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get it to you this week.
dude, I'm
Okay,
the
I
I'm
promise.
the stuff I'm pushing you to do is the most important stuff for your future. So
I know
that's all I'm
you're
gonna
right
say. I'm
about
the most
that.
important course.
I'll put it right here. I even like as soon as I pulled it up, like my notes from our last conversation, the first thing on the top was stories, big bullets,
Yeah. So like
bolded. So
in
yeah,
the star framework, right? The situation,
hmm
task, action, result.
yeah,
Give me those because you know, even if you strike out in these last few, I'm hoping you land one of these.
Hmm.
full-time offers like the PMC or these other ones sound like but there's no super days coming up right now.
No,
So
not as of right now.
if we could tighten those before any potential super days, because one of these may result in a super day in the
Hmm.
next few weeks. So even if I can just go back and forth with you on Google Docs,
Yeah, that sounds good.
to try and tighten those up, I think it can make a big difference. Because I spoke with Andrew. A lot of his stuff was a lot of this kind of vague kind of generalities as well. And I like pushed him to actually get more specific and tell his story, because he had some pretty interesting stuff. And so he's gotten a lot better at telling his story, and it's worked. He's gotten offers now.
Okay, that's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, so I think if we can do that, I feel like if in terms of the networking, so are you able to kind of that back up as well and kind of give that 10 hours a
Hmm.
week or so?
Yeah, I definitely can. I also wanted to ask you in terms of networking. I know you mentioned TAS, but are there any other like groups or maybe positions that you'd want me to look at as well? I spoke
Yeah,
to somebody else and he told me to look into corporate banking since they deal a lot on the debt side.
yeah,
And that's something that can be
programs,
transferable.
FLDP programs, financial leadership development
LDP.
programs.
Okay.
So like the Fortune 500s have a lot of like, you'll go like work at a, you know, I don't know, GE for lack of a better one.
Hmm.
But like there's a lot of these programs that'll take, high performing students and bring them through, and you get to see a bunch of different divisions in terms of how they work from the financial side. And they can
Hmm.
be a great place to start. A lot of times these large companies will like groom these kids to kind of be future leaders of the company.
Hmm.
And it doesn't close a ton of doors. It's not like you're gonna be able to jump into private equity right after that or anything like that. You'd probably have to go banking first, but
Yeah.
it doesn't close a lot of doors. It gets a good, well-respected name on your resume
Hmm.
your first couple of years, and you build a lot of good relationships for the people who go through the program with you.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd look into that. There was actually we used to have a course or a guide on FLD programs. I'll dig that out and send it to you. We don't even sell it anymore because it's just a little dated. Um, but I'll dig that out and send it over to you.
Okay. Sounds good. So FLDP, TAS, like I said, somebody suggested
TAS,
corporate banking.
yeah, corporate banking, TAS, any sort of corporate finance role.
Okay.
If you can get into a corporate finance role, maybe from a private equity backed company where they're going to actually
Okay.
have standards and be pushing the company.
Makes sense.
The problem is a lot of those corp fin roles of small companies, they'll have like, one head of corp fin, and then they'll have like the CFO basically, and then they'll have like one person underneath them, and typically that person underneath them has like experience already,
Got it.
like accounting or something. So it's tough as an entry level.
Hmm.
But yeah, anything with corporate finance, anything with you could also cut your teeth if you really want to suffer and hear rejection a lot. You could go to do some sort of sales role, corporate development,
Corp dev.
corp dev. You could do that. I mean, a lot of times when I talk to people that are 20 years in the industry, 15 years, they're like, man, that corp dev role was a pain, or that sales role was a pain. But looking back, that was like the most valuable skill set I developed.
Makes sense. Yeah, I've definitely heard that sales is a valuable skill set. Just
Yeah.
really haven't looked too much into it or thought about it.
Yeah, it might be an idea, just an idea. If you're like limiting the number of applications you're sending out because you're like banking or bust, I think at this stage you should definitely be taking more reps with like anything.
Yeah, makes sense. Oh, also, I got in touch with this MD
Hmm.
from Wolf Research
Hmm.
for an equity research position.
Yeah.
We've been trying to schedule a call for like the past week and a half, but either he's like late to the call because he's had a meeting like
Yep.
I don't know, yeah, or the dates that he suggested just don't match my schedule, vice versa. So
Hmm.
I wanted to like I don't know hear about that. What you think about equity research? Probably not as transferable to banking, right?
It is. I mean, it's good. I don't know too much about Wolf
It's more.
in particular, but I think it's good in the sense that you're looking
Mhm.
at, you're evaluating companies, you're probably doing some valuation work. So
Mhm.
yeah, I do think it's pretty applicable actually if you could get that an equity research role. It just if it's at a respected shop, I don't know much about Wolf,
Mhm.
whether it's respected or not, versus like some of the more middle market banks and stuff. Is it a pure research shop? Like that's all they do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Seems like they're pretty respected. Just looking on WSO and
cool.
I mean, other forums online.
Cool. Yeah. So I think, yeah, I mean, if you can get it, I mean, anything where you're doing actual valuation work, you're researching companies, you're looking through 10Ks, 10Qs, you're on calls and learning about, um, how to look at a company and evaluate a company, I think is definitely transferable. The issue is if you were to transfer to banking, you'd probably have to start at year one again. So if like
Yeah,
you
that
did like
definitely
a
makes
year,
sense.
and if you did a year in equity research, but that's the same as if you want transaction advisory services, if you want equity research, or you want anywhere. It tends to be. I mean, what's going to be most important is like you try to get into a place. Obviously, you want to get into a place that has like the best exit ops, right? But you also
Yeah,
want to
that's
get to a
true.
place is like that you're going to learn a lot. And
That's also true.
it's about like finding like who are you going to be working with directly at Wolf, who you're going to be working with directly at PNC, who you're going to be working with directly at like all these places,
Hmm.
a middle market bank in SF and the small one in the boutique in LA. Really ask yourself those
Hmm.
questions, because who's your direct report and like who you're going to have to actually deliver work product to is a lot more important than you think.
Got it. Got it.
Because like they
Okay.
can totally just be jerks and make your life absolutely miserable, or they could be the type of people that are like they like mentoring people and showing you the ropes, and they're a little more patient.
Mhm. And that's something I definitely ask when they say, "Do you have any questions for me?" It's
What do
like,
you ask them?
who am I going to be reporting to directly? Or,
Yeah,
I mean, what does a mentorship look like, or what does the learning process look like for, first year analyst
like training
or new
stuff. Yeah,
hires? Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Sometimes for a lot of the smaller ones, it's kind of just like you learn on the job. But I mean,
Yeah.
as long as you're learning on the job next
Hey,
to or under somebody that
Even Wall Street Oasis, even we have a processes in place and process
really.
documents where we train at. We're trying to get better at it, but yeah, even we have that for our like customer service people and stuff.
So it should be a standard for sure.
Small, come on, these banks got to get it together.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think um, I'm trying to think like you should yeah, definitely open it up to any equity research, any banking, any FLDP programs, corporate finance. I'd say corp dev. There's some even these small little private equity analyst jobs. There was one up in the Bay Area, pays really
Hmm.
low. I think they wanted an experienced banker, but like if you lobbed your hat in the ring, maybe you'd get an interview.
Hmm. And for like these FLDP programs or corp dev,
Mm-hmm.
like, would you say that, networking is a huge thing too for, I don't know, these corporate jobs?
They're a little more structured, but I mean, given how late you are, yeah, that's probably just going to be like one of these one-off seats opens up for whatever reason.
Yeah, that makes
Last
sense.
second,
Would it
and
be would it be smart to just reach out to the hiring manager or the person in charge of hiring, or should I just hit up somebody on the team first?
either in both. I think
Okay.
I think just being around the hoop and talking to people and learn more about the FLDPs at different firms. See if it's something that even interests you,
Okay.
because each one's pretty different with how they
Got it.
structure it and like what desks you actually see or what groups you actually rotate through.
That makes sense.
I think it's like
Got
a
it.
2-year program typically, and it's like you can go through like each 6 months you go through a different thing, which is pretty cool to me. I think as your first job out of school, it's kind of an awesome way to see how different groups work.
I know Disney has one for like a business rotation
Hmm.
program. It's just like when I was there, that's all like the kids older than me talked about. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, it's time to apply. Or, yeah. Or,
yeah, and it's
oh, I
not
got
easy.
accepted one. Yeah, no, definitely not easy.
So I wouldn't rule those out, and it's a good place to start. And by the way, you're not going to be working like 100 hours a week. You'll probably be working like 60,
Yeah,
67. So like if you want to keep recruiting, you can. You keep networking.
yeah,
There's nothing stopping you.
that does make sense. That does make sense. Okay,
Um,
cool.
and then specifically like I'm trying to think what else. Like yeah, just the stories, man. Because even for non-banking interviews, just having those stories down, it's all the same behavioral stuff. It's like
Yeah.
trying to show them why you're a hard worker through your stories, trying to show them how you resolve conflict in teams through stories,
hmm hmm
showing them how you like um, what you're working on and where you feel like you're weakest. Hopefully it's not a critical weakness for what the job is. Not like
Yeah,
I'm not
hopefully
very
not.
analytical. I'm not very good in Excel. No, so I think that's a good place. But any questions about specifically like where I can help? Where can I help you kind of in this? Because this is like the stretch run, man. You're like 5 months away from graduating.
I know. Yeah, it's really stressful. Like thinking about it every day.
You're
Um,
gonna blink and it'll be over. So when is this? When does this semester end? Is it trimester? Are you on a trimester system?
um, yeah, it's trimester or quarter system. Fall, winter, and spring. I end June, like middle of June, June 12th.
It's late.
I think that's the date. Yeah, it is a little later than most. A lot of the jobs that I've looked at start either end of June or middle of July, so that's good with my schedule. I'm not too
Okay.
worried about that. Um, in terms of, I guess like what I'm doing right now in terms of aside from banking is kind of just shooting my shot anywhere and everywhere else, like anything that I see interesting. Like I even looked at a couple like real estate, like analyst jobs or positions.
Yep.
So
I'm
I
listening to
shot
you.
my shot
I'm
there.
looking at your connections. How high are you now?
How high I am? But what do
Yeah,
you mean, like
like in terms of connections. How many connections you have?
connections?
Yeah.
Oh, I am close to 900, I believe.
Nice. Okay. So that's
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah, and I've been sending like networking messages on LinkedIn and um not so much as I should be via email, but a lot of them have been LinkedIn. Like I messaged somebody from a small, not really small, but a startup here in Irvine,
Hmm.
Acorns. Somebody that is working with a like REIT group,
Yep.
and then something that was like asset management, just kind of like dip my toes here and there with other jobs as well.
Hmm.
In terms of like the more corporate structured jobs that like I just mentioned like a few minutes ago and that you kind of talked about, what I've just kind of just been shooting my shot via the black hole, just because I didn't think that networking was going to do too much there. But since you said give it a go, I'm definitely going to give it a go.
Yeah, you're not going to get in. You're probably not going to get many first rounds if you're just shooting it through online.
Okay, sounds
It's
good.
going to have to be through calls and meetups and all that stuff. It's
Sounds
like
good. Back to square one.
the way the, I mean, don't, it doesn't mean you should stop your banking ones.
No,
Um,
definitely not. I'm definitely going to keep going for those.
yeah. So it's just more of like, yeah, you should start now because even those are super tough. And so
Hmm.
what we don't want to do is we want to make sure you have some safeties and some reaches and all that good stuff, but we got
Hmm.
we got to like, make sure you have an offer.
Yeah, no, that's number one priority for sure.
Um, so let's focus on that. I think, yeah, I mean, the way you're going to get an offer and the way you're going to keep getting, I mean, you're getting interviews, which is good.
Hmm.
I want to make sure that your story's super sharp. Almost all these are behavioral, right? Because
Yeah.
you're not the super day. So like, I just want to make sure those are really tight right now.
Okay.
Um,
Sounds good.
because I want to make sure you're like getting to final rounds almost every time.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah,
Because
I'll definitely get you these
you may
stories.
only have like before the end of the year, you may only have like 3 or 4 more first rounds for
Hmm.
banking.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's true.
Hopefully more
It's
like
looking pretty
10.
slim.
Hopefully more like 10, but
Hopefully, but like recruitment's looking pretty slim right now for that. So
mhm.
yeah, I'll definitely get you in those stories
Okay,
this week.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else I can help with?
As of right now, no, not really. How have you been?
Dying, dude. All 3 kids are sick.
Oh, it's been going around, that's for sure.
Three out of the six
Uh,
kids, 3 out of the 6 ears are infected. Out of the kids.
isn't that brutal? You've probably been in the
Haven't,
doctor's office
yeah, not
pretty
sleeping
often.
enough, the usual.
Have you been able to fix the employee situation that you had last month, or what was
Yeah,
going
we
on
got
with your
somebody
employee?
new. Yeah, we got somebody
Okay,
new in, which has been great. Um,
awesome.
Never fun when it doesn't work out, man. It creates a ton more work for the
I
rest of
believe it.
but
I believe
small
it.
business problems, small
Yeah,
problems. Um, but yeah, no, things are on the up and up. We're always looking for good, talented people
that's
to
good.
help out. And I think we got a good one now.
That's good.
Um, but I think in terms of your stuff, so what about like at B Riley? Did they say anything on your exit? Hey, come back to us. Maybe there's a seat at some point.
No, they didn't say that exactly. Just because at that office that I was working at, they don't offer full time like returning offers to their interns.
But don't
I
they
don't think
occasionally have
it's
to hire, like, don't they have an exit from an analyst at some point?
I mean, the team's pretty slim. They only have like one analyst, one associate,
Yeah.
one VP, and then like three MDs.
What about the LA office?
LA, I looked online, and there weren't any openings. I've been asking the guys in Costa Mesa, but they don't even know. So it's just a matter, I guess, is like cold calling the guys up in LA and seeing what's going on.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if you
So
couldn't get on the
that's
phone
how
with them.
that's looking.
If you couldn't get on the phone with them, I'd be surprised because you did work for the Costa Mesa office. So
Mhm.
like you should be able to at least get a 5-minute call.
Okay,
Guys,
sounds good.
hey, what's it looking like? You know, even talking to the analyst, be like, hey, do you think you're going to be around for a while?
That makes sense.
Because if he's leaving, they may not even know they need an opening.
Yeah,
Or need
he could be.
an analyst.
Yeah.
Obviously,
you
wouldn't want to blow up his spot, obviously, but just if he says that, it's something you can be ready to jump right when like they find out he's leaving. You'll be like, hey, I'm here.
Be like, hey, I'm still here. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I can definitely do that. I know he was just hired this past summer, so I don't know what the chances are of him leaving. Yeah, within the next year, but
unlikely.
We'll see. Yeah, no. They are doing like a, huh?
You never know though, because he could have been continuing to interview at like larger shops and stuff.
That's true. That's also true. Yeah, you never know.
They've been giving what were you saying?
One of the VP that I was working with at B. Riley did introduce me to an associate who was a previous intern at B. Riley up at the shop I'm interviewing in Seattle.
Okay.
So he made the warm introduction via email, and hopefully we can get on a call later this week. So they are helping me out however which way they can. The associate that I was working with gave me a list of banks to reach out to, and not that I already don't have one, but it's nice. Like they're trying to help me out. And then when I did have my interview at A&M, they sent an email after my super day. So, and they'll continue to send like referrals or emails when they can.
Did A&M give you any more feedback? Remind me what they said.
No, it was kind of just like, yeah, it was really competitive. There was only 5 of us at the super day, and they only took 1 of us. So, yeah.
Brutal, dude. It's tough.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We've been moving on.
All right. Well, hopefully one of these breaks. I think we just gotta build the top of the funnel again. You know what I mean? Like you think of it as like a sales function like this, and like right now, I can't even do it. Let's see, like that. Right now, it's like it's more like this. You need to go like this. You need to get real wide.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Because like
for it.
But not in such a way of like just blasting your resume everywhere. Yeah, do that. That's great, and you may get an occasional bite from it. But you're probably gonna get less. You're probably gonna get like 0.3% response rate on. So you take like 300 applications to get like 1 or 2 responses.
Yeah, that's not
online, which is kind of a way. It can be kind of. It sounds like it's easy to apply online, but when you take into account those numbers, it's actually probably more efficient just to talk to people.
Yeah. No, definitely. That definitely makes more sense.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'll look out for the stories, and then
I'll have it.
as soon as I get that, I'll try to turn it around and get you some feedback, and then maybe in the next session next month we can kind of just do a quick like behavioral interview around
Sounds
those.
good.
Because my guess is like either before next session or soon after. My guess is you're going to at least have 1 super day coming up.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Sounds like a plan.
Before spring break.
Before spring break.
You know?
Yeah, no, I'm hoping to have something down by before spring break. So
yeah, fingers crossed.
That'd be huge. That'd be huge.
Man. Well,
okay,
listen, if I can help in any other way, just don't hesitate to reach out, and ignore my Skype status from now on.
Okay, yeah, we'll do.
Chat soon.
All right, have a good one.
And thanks to you, my listeners at Wall Street Oasis. If you have any suggestions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to send them my way, Patrick at wallstreetoasis.com. Until next time.